Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel Study with Sim. Today we will be learning about respiration. So before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe. So let's move on with the video. Cellular respiration. Every cell produces its own energy by respiration. The process takes place in tiny power plants called mitochondria. A cell that uses a lot of energy, such as a muscle cell, has a large number of these organs. Respiration is a chemical reaction in which glucose is oxidized as well as energy. The reaction produces carbon dioxide and water. The chemical equation for cellular respiration is C6H12O6 plus 6O2 arrow 6H2O plus 6CO2, which is glucose plus oxygen. The arrow will be energy, water plus carbon dioxide. Storing and releasing energy. The energy released from respiration is stored by a chemical called adenosine triphosphate. The energy is used to add a phosphate, which is P, to adenosine diphosphate, which is ADP, to store energy. When needed elsewhere in the cell, the phosphate breaks off and releases the energy. Now let's see the things written in the green. ADP plus P equals to ATP, which is energy gained, and ATP minus P is equal to ADP, which is energy released. Anaerobic respiration. If the cell cannot get enough oxygen to power respiration, it does it anaerobically, meaning without air. This process produces lactic acid as a result, which is what makes hard-working muscles burn with fatigue. Anaerobic respiration releases only part of the energy in glucose, but the rest is released when oxygen is available again. So let's see the equation here, which will be C6H12O6 is equal to 2C3H6O3, which is glucose equal to lactic acid. Now let's read in detail about the mitochondria. A mitochondrion is surrounded by an outer membrane similar to one around a cell. There is another membrane inside that is folded in on itself. The folded areas are called cristae. The main enzymes that control the production of ATP are bonded to the inner membrane. This is where respiration happens. The cristae increase the surface area of the inner membrane, maximizing the space for enzymes. As you can see, this is a diagram of the mitochondria. Now, this here is the space inside inner membrane is called the matrix. It is filled with enzymes. Mitochondrion has its own DNA. Ribosomes produce the enzyme proteins used in respiration. Now these here are cristae. And this, as you can see, is the outer membrane, and the folded part is the inner membrane. Mitochondrion. A mitochondrion is a self-contained unit that takes in the cell's glucose and releases ATP energy, carries in return. The organelle is believed to have evolved from a bacterium that began to live inside larger cells. Now let's learn about gas exchange. Respiration requires a supply of oxygen, and the body also needs to remove the waste carbon dioxide it produces. The area through which these gases enter and leave the body is called the gas exchange surface. lungs, gills, and the trachea tubes of insects are lined with these surfaces. A gas exchange surface is thin, moist, and well supplied with blood to take away the oxygen and deliver the waste carbon dioxide. The gases move in and out of the area by diffusion. Now, this is the page number which I will be telling you afterwards. Now, here, if you do not know, I'll be telling you that here it says that blood to take away the oxygen. Now, how does the blood take away the oxygen? Yes, the hemoglobin reacts with the oxygen and only takes the oxygen and leaves the carbon dioxide and the other gases. Now let's read about breathing with gills. Aquatic animals extract oxygen from water using gills. Gills are made up of thread-like filaments filled with blood vessels. Oxygen-rich water flows over them constantly in one direction. Now you can see this diagram. Now let's read about breathing with lungs. Most land vertebrates breathe using lungs. The process is called reciprocal breathing. Oxygen-rich air is inhaled, gases are exchanged, and then the oxygen-depleted air is exhaled. The lungs of primitive vertebrates, such as salamanders, are simple sacs. The lungs of larger animals are effectively sponges of tissue, which a huge gas exchange surface. I'm so sorry for this blurry picture, but as I'm dictating it to you, you can understand. Now, lungs. When you breathe in, air is sucked into your lungs via your trachea, which branches into left and right bronchi, which in turn branch off into bronchioles. Now we can read about alveoli. At the end of each bronchiole are sacs called alveoli, where the gases are exchanged. Now you can see some diagrams here. So this is our lungs with the bronchis and the bronchitis. If you know what is bronchitis, they are the diseases caused in the bronchioles. Now this is a diagram of the end of the bronchiole. Now let's read about gas mixture. The air we breathe is a mixture of gases. Only about fifth of it is oxygen, which diffuses into the blood. There is about 100 times more carbon dioxide inhaled air than inhaled air. I'm so sorry. I will read that again. There's about 100 times more carbon dioxide in exhaled air than in inhaled air. So let's see here the gases, the inhaled air percentage and the exhaled air percentage. Nitrogen, inhaled air percentage is 78 and it is the same with the exhaled air percentage. Now oxygen is 21% inhaled and 17% exhaled. The inert gas is 1% inhaled and 1% exhaled. Carbon dioxide 0.04 is the inhaled air percentage and 4 is the exhaled air percentage. Water vapor. Inhaled air percentage is little and the exhaled air percentage is saturated. Reciprocal breathing. To breathe in, the diaphragm moves down, enlarging the space in the chest. This lowers the pressure in the lungs, forcing in air from outside to breathe out. The diaphragm goes up, reducing the space in the chest and pushing out the oxygen depleted air. So for this you can do is You can keep your hand on your chest, and when you breathe, you will feel a slight movement in your diaphragms. Now, that is what happens when you reciprocal breathing. So, that's obviously the case in humans, but just like we read above, not fishes do reciprocal breathing. They do. They do. Can you tell me what they do? Yes, they do aerob. Seriously, I literally had to